What is going on, everyone? We are 24 hours away from the NFL draft. However, for us, it's about 48. We are not selecting on Thursday. We no longer have a first round pick. I am joined by a host of the H Town Rundown. He is also a part of me on the Roundtable Network. AD, I think this is the first time we've done a mock draft together, man. Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome.
appreciate you Ruben, having me on. I'm excited.
Hmm.
It's been a whirlwind week.
So I have to ask you, man, your thoughts on the new uniforms, man, because you know the leaks didn't do them justice, but seeing them all in person, and
Hmm.
I liked them and the reaction from the fan base. I know before 10 o'clock, I was in group chats and everyone was saying, "Oh, I'm expected to be disappointed." All right.
Hmm.
I didn't think a lot of people, were disappointed as the reveals came out and all the things the Houston Texans did. Man, they knocked it out the park.
Yeah, the visuals that they presented it with, the videos, the the constant drop,
No worries.
of content on the
Hmm.
on the Twitter page. It was just awesome. They gave the breakdown of the each uniform, each helmet, what inspired it. Like they were very detailed, and it was refreshing because you normally don't see it. You see teams like the Lions, they just drop it and
Hmm.
they don't say nothing else. Hey, here's our new uniforms, and they done with it. Same thing with the Jets. Just posted it. They had a little video, but I think our video by far was the best introduction video because we had what three or four of them, three of them,
Yeah, like four, and then
four,
four of
yeah,
them different themes,
yeah.
and man, it was it was exciting, and it kind of felt like the new era is being ushered in. Have you got any merch yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting my turn.
Okay,
I said on the space. They ain't had a big boy sizes available yet. I'm
yeah.
waiting.
I was able to get this CJ Stroud
Ooh.
battle red here, man. Dude,
Bro,
man,
the highlight part is that look at the collar with the H Town blue in the collar.
and that's what I like the
Yeah,
most, right? But all your thoughts on the little on the horns on the
I love the
sleeve.
horns. Honestly, me personally, I love the white
Okay.
and then I love the red.
Yes.
Those are my two favorite. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack on this, but my least favorite is the H Town blue uniform.
Okay.
But the actual home blue comes in right behind the red and the
Mm,
white.
okay. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I was actually surprised that the H Town Blue was the one that sold out first and sold
Yeah.
out quickly. I will drop a hot take on the uniforms. I do like the blue helmet more than the red.
Yeah.
And it's not saying I don't love the red. I think it's fantastic. I think it's sexy, and you can't go wrong with the red chrome face mask. And all I need is CJ to have is a gold visor. And
Hmm.
dude, like we're rocking and rolling. But when I looked up and and saw the helmet up close, it had like red glitter in
Yeah.
the blue. And
Mhm.
every time I flashed my light on it, I mean, it was just popping out. However, I do have a beef with the jerseys. To me, it looks black. However, everyone keeps on saying it's navy and blue, and people are telling me that I'm colorblind, and I'm just
Well, I'm gonna give you insight. I don't know if you had the survey. Were you part of the survey that they issued out?
no.
So they issued out a survey to season ticket holders, like a year or so ago when they was trying to get ideas on the uniforms, and that pitch black color was one of the options. And
Mm.
so they call it pitch blue, but it's like it's so dark blue, it's damn near black.
Okay, so I'm not tweaking then.
No, no, no. It's a blue, but it's like you ever seen those blacks that it ain't black, but they call it cherry.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
yeah.
black, but if you look close, it has that red feature in it.
Mm.
So this one has the blue feature in it.
So here we are, 5 round mock draft. pick 42 for this Houston Texans squad. And, you know, when I look at this list, Troy Franklin, Tyler Nubin, um, Keon Coleman,
Hmm.
which wide receiver did we meet with not too long ago?
It was Xavier
Your
Leggett.
leggy, right?
Mhm.
Oof. Imagine him at 42 for the Houston Texans. However, John Crumpler had posted that video of him talking to Leggett, and he said, I had multiple conversations with the Panthers. If I'm there, they
Mhm.
would take me. What are your thoughts on 42 for this Houston Texans team?
Honestly, I've been saying it for like for a minute now. This is a depth draft. We honestly probably going to take best player available. At each position, I can see personally, I can see every position outside the offensive line.
Okay.
I can see them taking a running back. I can see them taking a receiver, tight end, defensive tackle, linebacker, DB. I can really see them taking any of those positions at 42. It all depends on who's the best player available.
Mm. And I am looking on here. I mean, it's really about what you think the Houston Texans needs are.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the needs for me, I look at the secondary, a safety,
Mm-hmm.
a cornerback. That's why, I look at Tyler Nubin's name right there, and then
Yeah.
that does excite me, and then I also look at
Mhm.
the other part of it where I do have two second round picks, and I can go ahead and reach and make moves if I go ahead and want to. It's crazy, man, because what if the Houston Texans did add Xavier Leggett? What if at 42 they shock the world? Um, I don't think they do that though. I am stuck on
Mm-mm.
Edrin Cooper at 42.
Look, I'm telling you, it's a lot of people that's pissed off at that. Because I'm a big Cooper fan too, so I've been pushing Cooper. Even I think on the last round table we did, I was
Mhm.
pushing Cooper, so I'm not mad at it at all. And I honestly don't think he'll be there at 59. So I feel like he's the best player available.
So what do you think about the argument around him at 42, right? It was, you're drafting a off-ball linebacker and he kind of resembles, Christian Harris, and what you need is a run thumping linebacker. And then, to that I answer that, Edgin Cooper, was just so good at everything at A&M, I know for a fact he could translate and grow under a head coach in D'Amico Ryans, but I
Mm-hmm.
go back to D'Amico Ryans himself and him finally getting his linebacker.
Right, the guy he can image in himself. Um, Honestly, I agree. I think that people talk about, well, we run this such and such amount of the time. We run
Mhm,
4-2-5. Look how many linebackers played last year. Because
mhm,
whether because of injuries, because of suspension, anything can happen. We played four linebackers all last year consistently.
mhm,
So why wouldn't you want a linebacker when you don't have anybody that really replaces Blake Cashman?
mhm.
So, but I see what you're doing.
Well, what do you think?
I'm looking at Fitz too, man. I'm looking.
At 42, I have questions. I'm like, is that really gonna be your first selection? At pick 59, I absolutely love Braden Fisk. And
Mhm.
the thing that stands out about him is his motor. He just
Yeah.
absolutely screams D'Amico Ryans. And I think right, that's one of his pros. High motor player, his
Mhm.
quickness is what stands off the chart. Light but smart run defender, active and fast hands. He stands at 6'5", 297 pounds.
Mhm.
Some they do consider him a little,
Mhm.
undersized for the position. He is also an older prospect,
Mhm.
24, 25 years of age. At pick 59, though, I wouldn't mind Braden Fisk whatsoever. And this might be one of your starting defensive tackles this year.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he, like you said, he fits that mold that D'Amico has. You look at San Francisco. San Francisco never had a guy who was like 6'3", 6'3", 6'4",
Mm-hmm.
300 some odd pound, like 350 or 330, like that everybody is kind of harping on. Like we've never had that type of defensive tackle
Mm.
except for Vince Wilfork when we were running a 3-4.
Oh man, Vince Wilfork, bro. That funny moment when he was in Hard Knocks and
Yeah, and
had
that
the overalls and the boots and the hat. I mean, to hear, Bill O'Brien with, that kind of laugh, it just,
hmm
it was fun to see and fun to hear. Pick 86 for the Houston Texans here. And look, man, I went defense the first two rounds, and I'm not opposed to getting another defensive player in round three. I'm looking at Renardo Green from FSU, and a
hmm
lot of people call him the best press coverage cornerback in this draft. Why is he being selected all the way in the third round, AD?
Well, I mean, his tape leaves a lot to be desired.
Mm,
When you watch, it's easy to say get hype about a player when you just watch highlights, but when you watch full games of the guy, he does get beat. Like he's good, he
mhm,
has sticky coverage, the first 10 yards. But if it's a long, elongated route or it's receiver going deep, he gets beat consistently.
mm.
So he is somebody that I would like, and that's the reason why he is a third round pick. But I'm looking at the other running back,
I know Trey Benson, baby.
Trey
You're
Benson,
talking about a freak of nature, 6'1", 223 pounds. He has
with a
track speed,
4.38. Yeah,
and this does not show his 4.3, but let me look it up
yeah.
real
He ran a
quick.
four. He ran a 4.38, if I'm not mistaken.
He ran a 4.39. So I think it was the second fastest
Mm-hmm.
in the combine, right behind Isaac Garendo from A&M. But I mean, you see this dude, and he just looks like he is chiseled from stone,
Right.
and kind of the same. I don't want to say same build as Joe Mixon because I feel like Trey Mason has a little bit more of the muscle, and Joe Mixon is a little bit
Yeah.
more
He's
of
a
the
smaller
mass.
guy. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
smaller
yeah.
guy.
I I love this combo right here, and I think
Mhm.
even DJ Bieniemy himself had mock drafted a running back. I think it was Ray Davis to the
Mhm.
Houston Texans not too long ago. But when you look at Trey Benson, dude, his stats on the year, he had 904 yards and 14 touchdowns, 5.8 yards per carry, dude. That just stands
Mhm.
out to you. Your thoughts on Trey Benson?
I love Trey Benson. I honestly think he's the best running back in the draft. I know some people would say Jonathan Brooks, but just watching Trey Benson is that guy. And
Mm,
he's if you draft him, and you're talking about a third round pick now, you
okay.
drafting a guy who can be your starting running back of the future, for years to come.
Yeah, and just to add on to you, I don't think right now we have a backup running back.
Yeah, no.
Uh, I do love Damian Pierce, but I am not expecting, you know, a. I don't have patience with Damian Pierce. The same
Mm-mm.
way I don't have patience with John Mechie, the same way I don't have patience with Xavier Hutchinson. And this was, the kind of argument I had when I was drafting a wide receiver in the second round in these mock draft, and they were like, "Well, we have to see what we have." No, you don't. What did Hannah McNair say? We are all in,
hmm
and bringing in someone who could not only start for you in the future, but could contribute right away, like Trey Benson. That's
hmm
what that's what you want, and you can have the same argument about Edrin Cooper, a starter in the future, but can contribute right away. He had 10 sacks for the Aggies. He's going to be an early blitzing down linebacker. So
Right.
I am loving this draft so far. Here we are, pick 123. Then just a couple of selections later, pick 127. And you see the name right there. All right, let's have this conversation. Tavondre Sweat. Look, he has been falling not only because of the DWI situation, but he was falling, weeks before that. Can he be a three-down defensive lineman and play at 380 pounds? Um, I
No,
just don't know. But you look at the round we are in,
the fourth round.
and it's the
Yeah.
fourth round. And I think this is where you can throw stuff at the wall and
Mm-hmm.
hope it sticks. If it's not Tavondre Sweat, I'm looking at Brendan Rice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the lineage there, and he understands what it takes to be good and great in this league by just watching his father. Um, Fourth
I'm,
round, dude. I think there was a lot of talent here.
I'm looking at
Um,
Chris Abrams' drain too.
yeah, cornerback. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is this is a big need for the Houston Texans,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what we were talking about. Renardo Green in the third round as well. The only reason why we didn't talk about it at 42 because in his Rakestraw Jr. was not on the board, but
Mm-hmm.
there is some concerns at the number 2 cornerback spot, man. What are your thoughts on on the cornerback 2 spot?
I'm honestly a little bit more positive than others.
Really?
I am, and it's
Okay.
because I look at the situations that Okuda and Henderson were in when they win and where they were drafted. I don't feel like they were given an opportunity to succeed. Okuda was injured first of all, and then he was on a bad Lions team when he first got there. You got to remember the Lions when he was drafted. The Lions were doo doo, like
Okay.
and so he got there,
I'm letting
and
you cook.
so he's athletic. He was highly regarded when he came out. I don't think he's played his best football yet. He played as people don't want to admit it, but he had a pretty damn decent season with Atlanta last year. Um, Opposite of what's the guy's name? What's the corner that we were going to
CJ
trade?
Henderson.
No. The guy we were going to trade for. In the Deshaun Watson trade. What's his name?
Oh, AJ Terrell.
AJ Terrell. Right. He played damn well next to AJ Terrell, being a cornerback number 2. I think he can give that. He can give that to us. Plus some. And let's be honest, man. As much as people were saying, "Oh, we cool with Steven Nelson," Steven Nelson, the second half of the year, even though he was injured, he was bad. He was not good. I recall being at the Saint watching the Saints game and him, miscommunicating with the safety and giving up a big touchdown to the little receiver they had over there. It's just like he made mistakes all the time. So I'm like, people will say that. I think that Henderson and Okuda give you just as much as what Nelson gave you last year or more.
I feel like you're putting a lot of faith into these guys who are on their third team in 5 years and who have
Mhm,
yet to played, a full season. Um, you know, I think it is a low risk, high reward in both these corners, and I'm
mhm,
banking, and I think that Nick Casario is just banking on one of these guys to figures it out. Let me ask you a
mhm,
question. Let let's say CJ Henderson still loses the cornerback 2 battle. Are
mhm.
you still keeping him on the roster or are you releasing him?
Absolutely. And
Okay, good.
his secondary was one of the worst. And we talk about offensive line being injured. Secondary was injured. I think we lost our whole safety room in one game. like, so you got to have guys, you got to have depth. So I'm definitely on board with drafting a corner.
Let's go ahead and do it. And this is someone who's nasty, who has a lot of IQ. Let's go ahead
Hmm.
and bring in some competition. I mean, when you also think about the cornerback spot right now, your starting slot corner is Desmond King, and
Yeah.
Desmond King did not make the 53-man roster last year.
Hmm.
So here we are, 127. We win defense, defense, defense. And is there any offensive players that just really pop out to you right now? I mean, right now there is.
Hmm. You looking at Theo Johnson?
I'm looking at Theo Johnson, the 6'6", 260 with 34-inch arms tied in from Penn State. He had 7 touchdowns on the year, AD, and guess where all 7 of them came from?
The red zone,
They
man.
came from the red zone. and you are adding another threat to this passing attack. And as y'all know, we don't have a fifth round pick, so
Mhm.
this is what we ended up with here. But I think adding a tight end, not only is it a move for the future, but it's also the same conversation we had with Edrin Cooper, Trey Benson. I mean, we can have that about Chris,
Mhm.
Drain as well, was drafting for the future, but having an immediate impact. I don't know what the love is for Brevin Jordan amongst fans. Do not let that 74-yard
That's what it
touchdown
is.
fool you.
That's
Uh,
what it is.
uh, is it really?
It
Because
is, man.
everyone is telling me, "Oh, he was a good receiving tight end for you, and he was a good block." I'm like, bro, did he only catch like 12 balls?
Yeah,
Like,
he I will say that his blocking improved towards the end of the year, but Brevin Jordan has been an extreme disappointment, even though he was a fifth round pick. But the promise of
was
him,
he a fifth round?
I think he was a fifth round pick if I'm not mistaken. That because he came in the Davis Mills draft,
Okay, yeah.
and so yeah, the two third one was Davis Mills and Nico Collins, and then he was drafted in the fifth. But I mean, people said that he got drafted late because he was on the smaller side or whatever, but he was extremely productive. He has the speed and everything like that. He showed that. I think people are still talking about him on promise, on hope.
Mm.
Hope that he turns out to be something. But I mean, honestly, I gave up on Brevin Jordan a while ago. I didn't think he was gonna make it through camp.
We had that conversation around Reverend
Yeah,
Jordan, right? And then with Tegan Toriano, I mean, this dude just cannot get off of the IR list,
no.
right? He's living up to the nickname Baby Gronk. With Theo Johnson, man, just a smart football player. He
Hmm.
has size, he has toughness, and just you're giving another weapon to CJ Stroud. And when we look at this 4 run mock draft, AD, we took Edrin Cooper at 42, investing into this defense, but
Hmm.
bringing in an athletic freak.
Yeah.
Pick
Uh,
59, Braden Fisk, a starter. We think as soon as we start playing football in week one alongside Danico Autry, Daniil Hunter, and Will Anderson Jr. Pick
Nasty crunch.
86, Trey Benson,
Mm.
running back, an
Best running
athletic
back.
freak. So I think someone compared him to Derrick Henry, and Lord forbid you have a Derrick Henry next to CJ Stroud for the next 5 to 6 years. It's gonna be deadly.
Mm-hmm. Best running back in the draft.
Ooh. Round 4, pick 123. Chris Abrams drain cornerback from Missouri. We are adding them some
Hmm.
depth and some insurance because you also have to worry about Derek Stingley has yet to play
Of
a
course.
full season of football. And then 127 tight end Theo Johnson. If this was your first couple of days in the draft, AD, what would you say?
Man, I'm kicked back, enjoying the scene and getting ready for the Super Bowl, man.
Oh,
Getting ready for the Super Bowl. You got CJ two more weapons, and you just basically solidified your defense with depth.
mm,
At the very least, depth. So now you don't have to worry about, well, if such and such gets injured, where are we gonna go from here? I mean, that was the biggest story of all last year. We got injured all across the board, and hell, we were looking crazy trying to find a corner when Stingley was out. So
mhm.
adding depth at corner, adding depth at D tackle, adding depth at linebacker, like that's just a bonus, man. And D'Amico's gonna have fun
Absolutely. You for sure got one starter out of this
Oh
five
yeah,
right there, and that's Braden Fisk.
for
And then
sure.
by the end of next year, you could potentially see all these guys
All of them, yeah, be
starting for
starting.
you, man. And I am just excited. The NFL draft is tomorrow. AD, let them know where they can find all of your latest work.
Hey, you can always follow me at the H Town Rundown on Twitter, H Town Rundown Podcast on Instagram, and the H Town Rundown on YouTube. Y'all
Mhm.
go ahead and follow all those on the platform. We're always bringing the content every week. Matter of fact, we'll be live tomorrow. Y'all go check us out. I mean, on not tomorrow, Friday. will be
Oh,
after
okay,
the
okay.
draft. Yeah.
During
We,
round two.
no, we're gonna after round two. After round two, we're gonna go live
Okay,
after the draft and recap everything. Probably after we pick 59, we'll go live. So
absolutely. Nice, nice. Well, you guys come back for more Houston Texans content,
mhm.
and we will see you tomorrow. Once again, AD, thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. Y'all